At long last, the battle has ended. And thus, Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever.
Ghana is the name, Ghana, we wish to proclaim. We will be jolly, merry and gay, the 6th of March, Independence Day.
The significance of Ghana's independence at that time is that it gave spirit to the whole of the African world.
Relearning the essence, going back to the village to reconnect with my elders, see where I'm from, it's custom to respect your old ones. Men and women with the greatest of wisdom, whose experience alone deserves the highest of reverence. For it was only 50 years ago they experienced freedom. Some were young and vibrant, others were much older. Independence Square, Accra. If I had one wish to be anywhere in history, I wish I could be there. Kwame Nkrumah speaking on the podium, at last delivering freedom. I got chills when I found out my uncle and grandfather were among them. They were only young men back in 1957, but the first African generation in history to breathe in an atmosphere of Ghanaian liberation. So free, how I envy so free. Ebres, Gas, Akans, other speakers of Twi. These memories today are priceless. For Pan-Africanism today is just a distant dream. Then it was a reality. African Americans and African West Indians were descended upon invitation to rebuild a paradise, to be an example the whole African world could be proud of. Ghanaian students like my father were given scholarships to Eastern Bloc countries, couldn't wait to board their ships or plane to go back home to return leg and participate in the experience of total independence, until they received that dreaded correspondence. Kofi, I can't believe it. You see there's been a coup, and Nkrumah no longer be sending for you, so you're gonna have to survive and do what you have to. Remember us, remember me, remember, I love you. What the hell's Kofi supposed to do? See, the one thing in life worse not knowing what to do is to have your whole life purpose taken away from you. I keep telling this generation, we should bathe in the wisdom of our elder men and women, for they've experienced a feeling I've yearned for since the beginning of my conscious education. From feeling freedom to dwelling in England, racism, thinking this will be the kingdom to raise your black children. And when I look back, I'm astounded at the experience of our elders, from African villages to London city homeowners. The journey to the unknown, leaving friends, family and all, sacrifice and hope that they could achieve a better life. But the problem with migration is the problem of distance. It's the problem of not knowing the reaction of your offspring to their own origin, not knowing if they can relate to their family, friends and cousins, and if they do, will they be accepted? You see, it's hard to go home and have to justify where you're from when you're born and bred so far abroad, but it's not hard for us to recognize it when we see it. For us to smell it and feel comfortable enough in it when we're among it. See, it's nothing like going home knowing you know the one position in the entire globe that you're from. Past ancestors and forebears, myths and legends, great uncles and great aunties who are the one-time pastoral brothers and sisters. No, you see, it's not hard for us to recognize it when we see it, to smell it and feel it when we're among it. We can take the man out of Africa, never the African out of the man. And living so far from our origin, we're only victims of imperialism. We're victims of a failure of independence, still wrapped up in the vision of Dr. Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah, dreaming the dream of the United States of Africa. And that once proud generation, and now torn in between, feeling optimism and being haunted by the memories of freedom. For imagine seeing your nation descend disaster after disaster, one nation after another. So it's hard to go back as a visitor, looking inside the eyes of African babies, nieces and nephews, knowing they're gonna have to inherit a world for them that's crazy. So my grandfather now asked me, what have we now done to have God start hating us? And to be honest, those thoughts have gone through my head more than once. The hardest workers who work for nothing, work to stay afloat. So I dedicate this poem to women who awake in the morning with nothing on their mind but how they're gonna feed their children. I said I dedicate this prayer to women's workers worldwide, to all workers selling merchandise by the roadside. I look in their eyes wishing I could do more for them. From hopefuls to hopeless, from God's chosen to God's people believing they're cursed. For we don't even try to get the best out of life. At the very least, we just pray to Almighty God that we can survive. But I have to believe God's paved the way for our freedom. We are God's chosen, and I'm willing to die for that belief. Now let my tongue speak to the whole of Africa is free.
We dedicate ourselves not only in the struggle to emancipate all the territories in Africa, Our independence is meaningless unless it links up the total replacement of the African continent.